that's to announce this year's recipient of the Robert Owen Award for an Inspirational Educator. So I'll hand back to Mr. Swinney for that.
Okay, thank you very much, Heather. A number of years ago, we instituted the Robert Owen Award, which is awarded to renowned educationalists from anywhere in the world whose work is stimulating awareness and application of the very best learning and teaching and encouraging excellence and innovation. And to date, the award has been presented to colleagues from Canada, from Finland, from Scotland, and from Lancashire. And I'm delighted to say that this year's award recipient is one of our very own head teachers from here in Scotland. So I'm delighted that this year I will present the Robert Owen Award for Outstanding Leadership in Education to the head teacher of Castleview Primary School in Edinburgh, Lindsay Watt. And I'd invite Lindsay to come up onto the platform just now. Is it all? Colleagues, I think it's all very well for me to stand here and set out what the great agenda is all about closing the attainment gap, about meeting the challenges, about transforming the lives of young people. It's dead easier for me to stand here and outline the policy. It's much harder to make it happen on the ground. And Lindsay Watt has done that in Castleview Primary School in Edinburgh. Castleview Primary School is in the Craigmillar area. It's one of the most challenged areas of our city. The young people that come in the doors of Castleview Primary School are amongst the young people who wrestle with the greatest challenges in life. And when I visited the school, and I visited the school to see the school being awarded its United Nations Rights of the Child Award, I saw children whose lives were quite visibly before my eyes being transformed by what was happening in that school, by the leadership that was being deployed by Lindsay, by the leadership that she had deployed and inspired amongst her staff, who were absolutely outstanding, and in the creation of an ethos and a set of values within the school which fulfilled absolutely everything I was talking about fulfilling the potential of every young person in Scotland, regardless of where they come from. And it's really important that we as a country recognise that the challenge that we are on is one that we can achieve if we have the relentless focus on ensuring that we deliver on that agenda and that we make that impact on young people's lives, that we properly and truly transform their lives. Now, Lindsay has made that contribution at Castleview. Part of that, Lindsay would attribute to her experience of being part of the Leadership Academy of Columba 1400, which many teachers are now participating in to transform their own contribution to education. And I myself am going to go and witness some of the work that's done by Columba 1400 later on this year, and I'm looking forward enormously to doing that. And Lindsay's shortly going to be retiring, unimaginable, but retiring.
It's not even early.
I won't broadcast what you just said to me there. It's ungallant for me to do that. But Lindsay is now going to make a contribution to Columba 1400 to recognise the significance of the impact that Columba 1400 has had on her own professional practice and what she's been able to achieve for some of the most vulnerable young people in our country. So it's with the greatest amount of pleasure that on behalf of the Scottish Government and on behalf of Scotland, I award the Robert Owen Award 2017 to Lindsay Watt. Many congratulations. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So there you are. That's the... Thank you very much. Here. And you get that as well. Do you want to say a few words?
Yes. Deputy First Minister, ladies, gentlemen, and stunned chums in the auditorium, it is with great pleasure and pride that I accept the Robert Owen Award for an Inspirational Educator. The invitation arrived on the 4th of September, and I must admit, when I opened it, sitting at my desk at Castleview Primary School in Craigmillar, Edinburgh, I was completely overwhelmed by Mr. Swinney's invitation. The previous recipients are world-renowned in the field of education, and I found myself doing that Scottish thing of questioning my worthiness as being a recipient. So I stopped myself in my tracks, and I ran a quote used by Nelson Mandela, which resonates in my Scottish psyche. Your playing small does not serve the world. Your playing small does not serve the world. I first heard this in 2003 when I attended a Head Teachers Leadership Academy at Columba 1400 on Skye. The experience changed my life when I was introduced to the concept of values-based leadership. And Columba is thankfully still changing lives for school leaders today. Please look them up. At that time, I was considered to be a successful head teacher who led an improving school, but I was then asked to consider developing and expressing my core values. And for me, enhancing my integrity, perseverance, and service empowered me as a leader. And I chose, in my opinion, to put my experience to better use and leave Leafy Sheens to work at Castleview, situated in an area of regeneration. Robert Owen, the great man whom this award is named after, said, "To train and educate the rising generation will at all times be the first object of society, to which every other will be subordinate." Our Scottish Government's ambition is to make Scotland not only the best place in the world to grow up, but also the best place in which to learn. Good. I commend the National Improvement Framework, the nation with ambition, every local authority's improvement plan, every school in Scotland's standards, quality and improvement plan. All good. As the A-team says, everyone loves it when a plan comes together. But school leaders must ensure that they are encouraging their teaching teams to come to school whistling. And this is where I truly acknowledge the honour bestowed upon me in receiving this award. The Deputy First Minister has awarded it to a Scottish primary head teacher, a Heidi, acknowledging that the early years are where we can get our young people off to the best of starts. I accept this honour, and I will use it to change the public's perception of what it is to be a head teacher. Leading a school is a tough shift, but honestly, it must be one of the best jobs in the world, and we must spread that joy. We must encourage our young teachers to develop their leadership for future generations. Through the encouragement of Columba 1400, I put more effort into serving my community, my pupils, my parents, my beautiful city of Edinburgh, and my country. And do you know what? My Castleview family improved too. I am very proud that so many of my previous teaching team members are now head teachers today and are sitting in this audience. That must be the legacy of every head teacher. We need to grow our pupils, but we need to propagate our teaching teams as future leaders. I have been very blessed. I was raised by two wonderful parents. I am mum to gorgeous twin girls who experienced a very good education in the state sector. I have a supportive family and a wide circle of caring friends. They are my family, and I live for them. However, I also live for my school family. I want them to have what my daughters had, and I believe it is my duty and that of my team to create a nurturing, ambitious school family for those children who face tough realities every day. I have for the past 5 years been having an ongoing argument with renal cancer, and thanks to our magnificent NHS, I am currently winning. On returning to work in January after an operation, a primary 6 Castleview boy said, "Oh, hiya, my swat, it's good to see you back. We missed you when you were away, ken, like it was when you come home and your ma's no in the house." Having recently lost my own mum, I know how that feels. And it was a privilege to realise that he missed the presence of his school mum. Graham Logan once said of Castleview Primary, "I knew I would meet some of Scotland's most disadvantaged children, but instead I met some of Scotland's luckiest due to the quality of the teaching and learning taking place." That took dedication and hard work from Team Castleview. But it's also brilliant fun, and it's a happy, motivating place in which to teach and to learn. So I dedicate this award to all teaching teams across Scotland. Our job is to educate, but it is also to instill a sense of pride and belief that hard work and dedication can conquer almost anything. We have the power to develop and deliver inspirational learning and teaching. We have to. We are changing the life chances of Scotland's children. In conclusion, a final part of that quote used at Columba, "And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same." I ask each and every one of you in this auditorium and those watching by web link, let your light shine for Scotland's children and give others permission to do the same. Thank you.